I wish I was a Unabomber because I was just looking at Wikipedia and Theodore Kaczynski was a really cool guy. He went to like MIT or something and he moved out into a shack and mailed bombs out and rode a bicycle. And that seems pretty hip. And he really didn't like computers. And I don't really like computers. So I think I should just, blow up some computers. Don't blow up computers. Hello and welcome to Now You're Onto Something. I'm your host, Stephen WALCZYK, and right now we have two guests, and I want to quickly introduce both of them. To my left is Mark Petruzzi. He's founder of Success Waypoint, and he's a life coach. I spoke with him during a break. Very fascinating man. If you work for the state of Connecticut, you may have even had a kind of class with him. So what do you do?
Well, basically, I consider myself kind of like a personal trainer for taking someone to what they want, basically, helping them get more of what they want. So I call it personal or professional progress. And, when we're talking about the progress somebody wants to make, usually we have to talk about it's literally about what they want, but also your emotions and your stress levels, because those are both directly related to what you want. A lot of people don't know that, but practically every emotion we have is related to some way, shape, or form to what we want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's the youngest client that you've ever worked with?
Well, I'd say freshman in high school, formally. Informally, kind of hard to take the coach out of the coach.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But as a formal client, a high school or freshman in college. Yeah.
Wow. So freshman in high school as well, or freshman in college?
Freshman in college.
Oh, I see. I see. That's interesting. Was he an overachiever?
No, in fact, everybody has a different level of what they want. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily have to be an overachiever to be going for what you want. In fact, just about every choice we make, we're looking for some sort of improvement in our lives. Mm-hmm. Okay, so whether you're looking for a new flavor of ice cream cone, or whether you have an aspiration that you want to change professions or move up in your job, it's still an improvement you're looking for. Mm-hmm. The trick is picking a desire that's really connected to who you are. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of people might get off path a little bit, because there's so much out there in terms of input from society, from teachers, from your parents, from coaches who think they have an equation that might work for you, that you may actually take a course that's not right for you based on the approval of others or seeking the approval of others. Yeah. So my job is to kind of reconnect people with, or I see part of my job is reconnect people with what do they really want.
Yeah, and try to know what that is.
To know what that is, right? Sort of help them get rid of some of the noise. And there are clues we can use to do that. I mean, basically, when you have beliefs, for example, that are going against desires that you have, when you are going for somebody's approval rather than what you really want, there's stress, and that produces stress in the system. So by unraveling that a little bit and finding out what's going on with a person.
Your own identity.
Exactly.
Trying to figure that out. And
we all have our own built-in personal coach, and that's really our emotional system. A lot of people think of emotions as something that's kind of a nuisance, it gets in the way. But really, if you're properly using your emotions are like an ally. They can actually tell you when you're on course or not. And usually when something's not feeling quite right for you, it's a good chance for you to take a look at, am I in the right place? Am I taking the right direction?
And that's stress, really.
And that causes some stress, right?
Yeah.
And so in a sense, stress is positive in that it can help us discover where we're off a bit and get us back there. The trick is understanding that we cause our stress through our thoughts, through our very own thoughts. A lot of people think that stress is coming from out there. And you kind of it's a natural human thing to kind of want to blame this person or that person or this, the government or the school system, whatever it is.
It's how we manage those external sources.
Yes. Yeah, and how we react to them internally. I mean, there's, life throws things at us, you have different experiences, we perceive them, we have a choice after that. We can say, I'm going to go this way and generate thoughts that are stressful, thoughts that take away from my energy, or I could go this way and I could reframe thoughts, I can think more of what I want, I can get back on track, I can have self-talk that's supportive of who I am and my direction. Right?
People, and the other flip side of the coin is that, there's a lot of, I don't know if drug abuse, almost, that I feel like stress, people use drugs as a way of coping with stress, and it's just this downward spiral that I think people could use a life coach with people with drug addiction.
Well, I think you bring up a really good point about any kind of addiction, and let's face it, distance running can be an addiction, right? Shopping can be an addiction. Some of the things you mentioned, they can be addictions. Addictions tend to be us running from stuff that we need to kind of figure out.
Take care of. Yeah.
Right. So and quite frankly, sometimes a little distraction is good for all of us, not in the form of something self-destructive, but we all need some distraction. Growth should be fun. I mean, I think it can be fun. We can be playful with, going for success or going for that progress that we're looking for. Everybody's kind of real serious about it, but I find that a lot of growth can happen when we're having fun and we're being playful with it. So,
very wise, very wise. Well, I expect a lot of you from our questions. So, let me introduce our second guest, Mike Davis, salad czar for the USDA.
That's true.
You were very successful in your career.
Yeah.
I followed you for many years.
Yeah, it's been a struggle at times when I was merely a salad emperor, but I finally hit czar.
I remember you back in the old days when you were just a cafeteria lady over Farmington High School.
Yeah, it's rough times.
You made a damn good salad.
Oh yeah, I mean I tried. Kids need to be healthy.
I think we should all look up to people like you. We should all be salad czars inside.
Well, I'd lose my job, but morally yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, morally, yeah. We should eat more greens in America.
My slogan, green is good.
Yeah. Historically, we've been, we've lived off a lot of cattle and red meat. And, we were an agrarian society, and we used a lot of energy to, because we were working in the fields. And now people are just getting really fat. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame.
So more greens, that's what we have salads are for.
Yeah.
So
Try to promote the good of green.
So
Green is good.
we had an extended introduction. This is very interesting, and I'm going to move on to the first question. This one is on my card. I thought long about it, but we are going to ask it today. Now, I'm going to put the question to both of you, but I want you to answer first. So, you are walking in a desert, and it's very hot. You are parched. It's been about 8 hours, and you come across a box, a cube in the desert. I want you to describe the size of this box, the material, and what you hope it can do.
That's a very interesting question. I would suggest that it would be made of some sort of crystal, some sort of quartz. It would be maybe the size of that glass. And what I could hope it could do would be to assist me in whatever I'm doing, according to my thoughts and direction.
It's like a genie almost.
Yeah, just like a energy boost, energy booster. I like sci-fi.
That's cool. Could it teleport you?
Why not? That's a good additional feature.
Yeah.
Maybe version 2 would do that.
Yeah.
Well, the box would have to be so big, but not too big. Maybe like 2 feet, all directions. Good sized cube. And probably just, a bottle of water in the desert. Maybe, I don't know, a flare? No, that wouldn't be too useful in the desert. A compass? No, there's no magnets in the desert. So, just a bottle of water. But it would have to be, inside would have to be like red velvet. Because like I open it, I'd be like, oh, this is so nice. And a bottle of water. So like I'm quenched, like my fingers are quenched and my thirst is quenched.
Okay.
And the outside could be, like a rough granite, surprise. Like, don't judge a rock by its cover.
Okay, well, that was your answer. Now, I'm sorry, you both were incorrect. The answer was a 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot ice cube. I don't make the answers. Yeah. I'm gonna give this card because the card was onto something. That question. All right. My next question. Well, we just went through the holidays, so I'm sure you've received a good number of gifts. What was your favorite and least favorite gift that you've either received or gave? I'm gonna start this time.
Well, my favorite gift I ever got was probably these plastic salad tossers. One's like kind of like a fork, one's like kind of like a spoon. Kind of like you toss this out. But these are like a nice bright orange, because orange is my favorite.
Sub question, because you're salad czar. What do you think of salad spinners?
Oh, fantastic! If you can get your hands on a good one, that's money well spent.
I'd like to, well, I don't know if I can even talk about brands, but I won't.
It's all right.
Well, very good salad spinners. Least favorite?
Least favorite gift I've gotten or given?
Either.
Or either. I mean, sometimes I'm unoriginal. I gave someone a gift card to Best Buy, and they were Amish, so really didn't turn out well.
Yeah, they could have re-gifted that.
Yeah, probably. It was awkward for all of us.
I wonder how the Amish feel about plastic in general. They just don't like it. For you?
My children coming home for the holidays, I'd have to say, would be the best. And I didn't really have any least favorites. So.
Yeah, that's a political. That's a smart answer. So, how old are your children?
30 and 28.
Oh, so then, all right, going off to roost. Okay. Did any of you receive any digital, equipment for Christmas?
No, I can't say that.
Or Kwanzaa?
Actually, in our family, we had a real book agreement this time. Everybody in our family exchanged real books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was, that's why it was hard for me to pick a least favorite. I haven't even read some of them yet, but I like all the titles. So.
Yeah. What are some titles?
There's one on actually when Columbus came to America, and I forget the author, I apologize, but it's like this thick, and it's some of the most in-depth information about that.
Is it titled 1492?
Yes. Why, you know that one?
I just guessed it.
Yeah, you guessed it. Very good.
Just guessed it.
He's an intuitive guy. You should be a motivational speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another one that's really good is Thinking Fast and Slow. And that one's very interesting. That'll be helpful actually in the work I do to learn something about that. So looking forward to reading that one. I actually cracked that one already.
Oh, wow.
And of course, The Onion. I got the new Onion book.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, tears streaming down my face. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, that's interesting about the book agreement because, one of my idols is Theodore Kaczynski, and I read his thesis on technocracy or something. And he was not a fan of computers. And while I am a fan of computers, I'm not so much a fan of touchscreens, and I'm not a fan of Windows 8. What are your opinions on Windows 8?
There's some good and there's some bad. I'm an OS 10 fan myself. I run all the Mac stuff. I like some of the metaphors that they put into Windows 8, but quite frankly, I think it's a little bit more work than OS 10. I think it's more work than XP to run it, so not a fan.
All right. Cleverly, yeah. OS 10 it's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't want to get into the details of I prefer, Windows, I don't like the Windows management in OS 10. It can get cluttered unless you have a big screen. Windows 8.
Numerically, things shouldn't go over 7. 7's a lucky number. Once you go past 7, your luck's just run out, just like Windows. So
Have you tried it?
yeah, man, I was not a fan.
Not a fan? Well, I've tricked you guys. I am actually a fan of Windows 8.
Oh, God damn it.
I enjoy it. I do think that it requires a lot of its features require touchscreen, which I don't have, but I do like it. So this one goes to Windows 8. Microsoft is onto something, and this will be the end of the first segment. Got our life coach is in the lead. Mike Davis is not out of the running, and now you're onto something.
Hi, how are you? I'm Mark Petruzzi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, fluoride. I even wanted to talk about quite a few opinions. So.
I don't know what
Oh, really?
well, I know that there's, I've heard that there's a lot of
Hormones and stuff.
There's all sorts of stuff in
Yeah.
there.
Metal filings. Explosives.
Hello and welcome back to Now We're On to Something. We have a new second guest, Howard Nima. He's a representative of, is it Change?
We are Change,
We
Connecticut.
are Change. Could you tell us briefly a little bit about your organization?
Yeah, We Are Change Connecticut is organization of people in Connecticut who want to find the truth, expose the real perpetrators of the troubles that we have in the world, and having social change through, peaceful organization, getting through. For example, right now we're on a fluoride campaign. So we're working to get fluoride taken out of the water in Connecticut. If you're not aware, most of the countries in the civilized countries, we call civilized countries, have banned fluoridation years and years ago. The Nazis actually used it on the concentration camp victims to make them docile and easier to maintain. And this causes problems with bone cancer, it bioaccumulates over time. So you have countries like Austria. Toxic fluorides have never been added to the public water supplies in Austria, ever. In Belgium, the water treatment has never been used in Belgium. In China, fluoridation is banned, but guess what? We buy the fluoride from China.
Oh,
Isn't that interesting?
that is interesting. I'd like. Do you think this is another coordinated step by the kind of elite that run the world, that have probably run the world for hundreds of years?
Well, Zbigniew Brzezinski said it best, I think, when he said that the people are now politically awake, but also the power of the New World Order, was what you're discussing, has never been greater. But at the same time, it is a weak point because there's such a true awakening, and that's why there's so much COINTELPRO, people like Alex Jones and all these others mixing it up and confusing the truth, and Glenn Beck, really not getting down to the issue of who it is. So it's pretty much the owners of all the companies and the mainstream media, the drug companies, especially. The drug companies are big into this. I mean, the vaccine thing, what is it all about? Let's all get, flu shots. It's all over the media.
So you're saying the people that run this, I mean, it's a mixture between the heads of companies and the old rich elite.
No, I think what it is it's a compartmentalization of that. So you have people that are complicit and part of this whole cogs in the wheel, but they're not actually aware that they're complicit. They think alike.
Now you're onto something. I'm sorry.
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
Now you're onto something.
Okay, there we go. So they're complicit in it. They think alike. The people that are brought up, a lot of it does come through the societies, these elite societies like Skull and Bones, and it's really true. And there is definitely a connection between the Masons and this whole conspiracy. And it is a conspiracy because the conspiracy is to control all the resources of the world, to bring in a one world government that's funded basically by future funded by carbon taxes because we're polluting so much. And it's a very long, detailed account. But the truth is that, yes, who owns these who are the principals in this? It's the Anglo-American connection. You've got the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, these bloodline families at the top, and then the royal families. And it really is controlled. The market of the oil, gold is manipulated. The Rothschilds set the gold price. I mean, this is stuff people don't talk about, but it's the truth.
Well, let's get back to you. I want to ask Mark.
Yeah, Mark hasn't said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, monopolizing the conversation.
That's all right. Now, that's
it's a good word since John D. Rockefeller. Get the little. Anyway.
Very interesting. Very interesting. There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
There is,
a lot of conspiracy. Really difficult to pin down one question, but if there is a conspiracy to create a one world government, are you particularly interested in it? Do you want to just live your life? Do you feel like I'm just, I'm too little of a man. I'm happy where I am right now. I'm just, I'm just going to live my life till the time I die. And
Well, for one thing, I love fluoride. I use it willingly. I put it in my salads and, add it to my own water. I'm just kidding. No, but what you're saying is there is a serious aspect to this. And is a man too little to care about such things?
like global warming?
Like global warming, for example. I would quote, one of my favorite quotes from Wolfgang von Goethe is, if everyone swept their own doorstep, the whole world would be clean. So is there something we can do? Yeah, usually all of us have some sphere of influence where, you talk about people who are not aware that they're complicit in some of these contrivances or problems that you're saying. Well, I think they become, whether they're aware or not, they can also have some cooperation in improvement. And a wave of improvement, I would rather see society change through a wave of improvement, a wave of awareness, than actually having more battles. We've got a war against drugs, we've got a war against this, we've got a war against that. And in some ways that actually escalates the amount of energy that's being used up there, and it actually intensifies the conflict and struggle.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have to add that I think that that's part of the intended confusion. I mean, there's intended confusion here. There's a reason why there's division. It's divide and conquer, Hegelian dialectic, the wars, everything. If it wasn't for this wouldn't have happened. And then we need to do this for terrorism, and we have to get the homeland security, and we have to take away your rights and take away your guns and divide the people. And the guns are good, guns are bad. This is important because everybody then doesn't pay attention to the men behind the curtain. That's the truth.
I guess what I would also suggest then is that if you're feeling that you can live your life the way you want, and you take steps to that, and if you do that and I do that and everybody does that, if you develop this sense of I can go out and do what I want to do, if I'm pursuing things that I have a passion for, if I'm active in the community, if I'm involved with the raising of my children in a loving way, right? If I'm doing that, I'm less susceptible to any of that stuff that you're talking about. That's what I would say.
Yes, that's true.
As I increase my awareness, as I increase my own
Right.
capability to do good.
But if he wants,
But
what
however,
he wants is the truth.
No, it's not the wanting. However, this is not like just something like, you want to like look at it as a sporting event, because it's not. Because the reason why in 1950, people such as ourselves, we could raise a family of 4 on one income, have money in the bank, have a nice house, have a car, and now we've gotten to the point where We've got half of the nation on welfare, or some form of welfare. Socialism and communism is clearly like underlined here. It's a takeover. It's happening. People don't realize it. They don't realize it because it's a gradual escape. It's a gradual descent from liberty to tyranny. Slowly, the states don't matter. Slowly, God doesn't matter. Slowly, all of the things, the moral quote-unquote codes that you're talking and holding dear have been eroded while we think and believe that we're free. And I think it was it wasn't Eustace Mullins who wrote it, but it was Aldous Huxley who said, the goal of the elite is to have a slave who embraces his servitude and loves it. That's the goal. Or is it Bertrand Russell? It's Bertrand Russell. And that's the truth. Because we're embracing it. We want to get that car that we really can't afford. We want to buy that house that we really can. They show you all these things on television that are all these things that the average person can't get as the gap gets wider and wider and as the people don't pay attention because they're blinded and manipulated. The Obama 2% increase in your payroll deductions then moves to $130 billion, which is the revenue. Then that money is now allocated to Hollywood and to Solyndra type companies like
Howard?
I mean this is what's happening and people don't understand
We
it.
have to end it right there. We'll put a brief pause. You know.
Yeah.
We have to put. You know, like
It's
I'm sure
okay. I
people
can
hear
just.
it.
I mean, this is what I do. This is why
I would suggest
speak.
one thing to consider as a just sort of as a punctuation mark on that, and that would be what Viktor Frankl said, who was a survivor of the concentration
Right.
camps, who said something like, to paraphrase, our and greatest freedom is our freedom of attitude. What we have on the internal in our internal
how
lives.
to
So,
cope. Right.
And-
Absolutely.
Okay, so I gotta. Mark is our winner. You actually, it was a tie, but he came on first, so he won.
I didn't know that there was a competition.
Congratulations, Aiden. I'm sure you'll be on again.
No, that
if
was
you don't
great.
mind.
Certainly, yeah. I didn't mean to ramble on, but that's what I do.
Hello and welcome to the end of our show. Our winner was Mike Petruzzi, our life coach, and today's prize will be a tall boy of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Hey.
I was expecting a 12 by 12 foot ice cube, but this will work.
Sounds better.
If anyone paid attention, he just slammed that down, so do not open that. We'll make a mess. All right, and thank you all for watching, and stay tuned next week for another episode of Now You're On to Something.
Now you're on to something.
All right.